Hi everyone, welcome back to another interesting tutorial. My name is Chine. If this is your first time coming across any of my video, you're welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being here. So in today's tutorial, I'll be taking you guys through the process of making this luxury bubu. I've gotten a lot of requests to post a video on how I made this, so if you're interested in learning how I made this, please keep watching and don't forget to subscribe. To make this bubu, I'm going to be using 4 yards of damask material. So you can make use of any type of fabric you would love to use. You can use brocade, you can use ankara, you can use anything you would love to use. Okay, I'm going to be drafting a pattern for this bubu. Now this doesn't mean you have to also draft a pattern. You can just draft directly on your fabric. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to get the length of my bubu. So for the length of this bubu, I'm going to be using 62 inches. Now if you would love yours to be longer, you can go ahead and make it 64 or 65 inches. So after getting the length of my bubu, I'll go ahead and start imputing my measurement. The first measurement is going to be the shoulder to bust point. My shoulder to bust point is 10 inches. I'll also go ahead and get my shoulder to half length. So the shoulder to half length is 17 inches. I'll also get shoulder to the hip line. Okay, so from the half length, I'm going to measure about 8 inches. Then I'll mark it, and that will be my hip line. Okay, so I'll go ahead and use my ruler to rule it out. I'm also going to label so that it will just be clear. So the first line is shoulder to bust point, the second line is the half length, and the third line is the hip line. So the next thing I'm going to get now is my knee line. Now getting the knee line is very important because there is going to be an opening on the knee area, so you have to get your shoulder to knee. So I'll go ahead and get the shoulder to knee, then I'll use my ruler to also draw a straight line. After imputing all this measurement, the next thing I'm going to do is to impute my shoulder measurement. So for the shoulder, I'm going to be using 7.5, and for the length of the sleeve, I'm going to be using 14 inches. After getting the length of my sleeve, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. Now this 1 inch is just for the shoulder slant. The next thing I'll be doing is to get the neck width and the neck depth. So I'm going to be using this one pattern to draft both the front and the back. So for the back neck width, I'm going to be using 3 inches, and for the depth I'll be using 2 inches. For the depth of the front, I'll be using 9 inches, and for the width I'm going to be using 3 inches. So I'll just go ahead and use freehand to draw this. Now for my round sleeve, I'm going to be using 8 inches. Okay, so I'll use my ruler to draw a straight line. The next thing I'm going to do is to get my waist measurement. Now this waist measurement is not so necessary. I just had to put it there because I'm going to be putting a rope on the waist, okay, inside the bubu. Okay, so I'll go over to the knee, then I'll divide my hip measurement by 4, then add 1.5. Now the from the knee to the full length of the bubu is going to be straight, like it's not going to be fitted, because I'll be using my hip measurement divided by 4. So I've added my hip measurement, then extra 1.5. So from the knee, I'm going to draw a straight line all the way to the full length of the bubu. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is from the center front of the knee, I'm going to draw a line and connect to the side of the full length of the bubu. So just do it exactly the way I'm doing it right now. So I'm going to connect it like that. It simply means there is going to be an opening in front. Now you can choose to make yours straight, you can choose to skip this part, it all depends on you. After getting the shape of the down part of the bubu, I'm going to connect a curve to the sleeve part of the bubu. So you're just going to do it exactly the way I'm doing it. You can choose to use a ruler for this, and you can choose to to use freehand, anyone you want. So I'm just connecting it like a butterfly. It's more like a butterfly boo, but the down part is straight. So this is how I was able to get the sides of the boo. So I'm going to use this pattern to cut the front and the back. The front of the boo is going to have two pieces, and the back is just going to be like that. I'm not going to cut the back. Okay, so the front will be two pieces and the back will be one single piece. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut out this pattern, then I'll show you guys how to transfer to fabric. So I've gone ahead to cut out the pattern. The next thing I'm going to do now is to show you guys how to transfer to fabric. Okay, so I'll be starting from the back. That's why I didn't cut the neck of the front. So it's time for me to transfer to my fabric. The first thing I did is I folded my fabric into two. I'm going to be starting with the back, so I'm trying to use pin to hold the pattern and the fabric. Okay, so I'm cutting the back right now. I'm just going to add 1 inch on all the sides, then ½ inch on the shoulder, the neck, and on the round sleeve. So I'll just go ahead and cut it out, then I'll show you guys. So I'm done cutting the back here, and this is what the back looks like. Okay, I don't know why I wasn't able to capture the down part. The down part is straight, so I've placed the pattern and I want to cut the front. Okay, so on the center front, I gave like 1 inch space before placing the pattern. This is because I'm going to join the center front so I can create a channel to fix a rope. Okay, so I gave 1 inch allowance before placing the pattern, so I'll go ahead and cut it out. Cutting the front and the back here, and I also went ahead to cut out facing for the back and also for the front. So I have facing for the back and I have facing for the front. Okay, now please mind you, if you're a plus size, the cutting is going to be different for you. This one is for a small size, this boo is for a small size. So if you're a plus size, you have to add more allowance to the side. Okay, you have to extend the sides. If you guys noticed, this particular one is different from the first one I made. This one is for a small size person and the other one is for a plus size person. So if you're a plus size and you're cutting your own, you have to extend it a little bit. So to start sewing, the first thing I'm going to do is to weave the center front and the neck. I actually cut a facing for the front neck, but I ended up not using it. So I'll just go ahead and fold the neck of the front, then I'll join the center front. So I'll just go and do that, then I'll bring it back and show you guys the finished result. So I'm done folding the neck, and I also went ahead to join the center front. I also had to iron the center front so that it will be flat. So from the shoulder, I'm going to measure 17 inches, which is the half length. Then I'm going to sew a straight line from the 17 inches to around the hip part. So from that half length, I measured 14 inches. So I'm going to run a straight line on both sides of the center front. Okay, so when I'm done, I'm going to fix 2 ropes inside. So I've gone ahead to sew down the center front. Remember, I measured 14 inches from the half length. Okay, I also went ahead to make a rope, so I'm going to pass the rope on both sides, then I'll show you guys what it looks like. Now if you want the gathers on the center front to be much, you can go ahead and use maybe 16, 17 or 18 inches for the stitching of the center front. I'm done passing the rope here. I stopped it exactly at my half length, and I also went ahead to drag the next thing is to join the front and the back. But before I do that, I'm going to fix a rope on the inside of the bubu. Okay, now this is just to snatch the waist of the bubu. I had to create two ropes, so I'll get my waist measurement, then I'll divide it by 2. Okay, I'll divide it by 2, then I'll go ahead and fix my rope. Before you fix the rope, make sure you get your waist measurement and divide by 2. The sewing of the rope is going to be on the half length, so I've gone ahead to sew the rope here. The next thing I'm going to do is to join the facing of the back, then I'll join the shoulder. So I've gone ahead to join the facing of the back. The next thing I'll be doing is to join the shoulder, then I'll go ahead and close the sides. Okay, so I've gone ahead to join the shoulder of this bubu. This bubu is coming together and it's almost done. The next thing I'm going to do is to hem the sleeve. I'll hem the sleeve, then I'll go ahead and join the sides. I'll hem the sleeve, then I'll go ahead and join the sides. So I'll quickly do that, then I'll show you guys the finished result. So I'm done with the sleeves here. So what I did is I just weaved it and I used hemming gum to iron it down. Okay, that's why it's looking very neat. So the last thing I'm going to be doing for this bubu is to sew the sides. So I'm going to sew the sides all the way down. So after I'm done with the sides, I'm going to show you guys the last part, which is the center of the front. So I'm done sewing the sides of the bubu. Okay, and this is what it looks like. This bubu is ready. Like at this point is ready. Now for the center front, I know some of you will be wondering where I stopped the joining of the front. Well, I stopped it on the knee. So I stopped the joining of the front on the knee, then I went ahead to fold the center front, like the opened part of the center front. So this is the end of this tutorial. I hope you learned something. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up and turn on your notification bell so that anytime I upload a new video you will be notified. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.